Give me what I want. Now you got me in the riptide, drinking sunshine.
All right, everybody, please welcome Amira Gadd, lyricist and producer extraordinaire. I'm so excited to have my good friend on Chameleon Cuts today because you guys are in for a real treat. Amira is so educated in the sync industry and the music industry, and there's so many great things to talk about. So I'm super excited to have you here today. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored that you brought me.
Oh my gosh, of course. So the sync industry and music publishing and pitching your song and getting the song done and getting it out. There's so much to talk about from top to bottom, this entire process. And I know you've invested so much time studying and going to seminars and learning from people like the Guild of Music Supervisors and Sync Summit, Mark Freezer, people like Michelle Weiss. And there's so many people. That's just naming a few. But I really would love for people who don't know much about it at all to watch this video and basically get an idea on how to start pitching their music. So if you could talk about, well, first, just, anything you want to say about who you are and like why you got into songwriting and sync licensing, because I know that you're a chameleon as well. You have so many talents. You're an illustrator, you're a wife, you're a writer, you sing also, you play instruments as well. Like you have so many talents.
Like, all you guys want me to sing, which is so funny. Like I love it. Yeah. So I'm in this music industry because I love it. I'm very passionate about it. I never thought about it as a career. Ever since I was a little girl, I would always write poems and songs just for fun. And I considered it as my personal diary. So anytime I was, I grew up in a very hard, like situation kind of thing. And so, but I would always be happy just writing whatever my emotions are. Silly most of the time, sarcastic most of the time. I love rhyming. So that was it, and then my teacher discovered my talent because I was showing her a poem. So she put me in theater, in plays. And so that was it. I thought that whatever I had was just for fun, because I've always wanted to be a physician. Like I wanted to be a family doctor. And so that was my passion. I wanted to be like a family doctor, taking care of people, and then I would always play piano by ear and just for fun. And in college, I would compose many pieces of, piano pieces, just melodies that come in my head. And then I would play it on stage if there's like some sort of talent show during college. And I ended up choosing graphic design and animation as my career for personal reasons. And that's what I've been doing until about 4 or 5 years ago. I was happy with what I was doing, and it fit my schedule as a mom, and I have 3 kids, and the things that I was doing at home. But then I just literally had this epiphany that I wasn't happy, and I was going through something during that time. And it was just like, there comes a time in your life where you evaluate, what you're doing, why you're here, and where you want to go, kind of thing, with what you want to do. And and that was it. It was very strong epiphany, and that I wasn't happy or feeling satisfied or fulfilled with doing just art direction. So and I was homeschooling my daughter, and I was sitting down with her, and I just decided to submit some songs for fun. There's always this, submit your songs online stuff. So I noticed that when I did that, I got so much attention. Like, people wanted my songs, and then it dawned to me, well, why not take it a step further? Instead of giving it to others, maybe I should just create my songs and see where it goes. And mind you, I had no idea what the music industry was about. Nothing, like nada. And in my mind, I thought, oh, like, people could hire lyricists, right? Like lyrics, like they can just buy my lyrics, and that's how I'm gonna make money. And no, I was so innocent. I know, right? Yeah, I was so innocent. And then so I decided, look, whatever the songs that got attention, that maybe I should finish it. And then it was law of attraction. The moment I decided that this is what I wanted to do, I ended up bumping into all these different artists. My next door neighbors turned out to be like talented musicians. They were young. I didn't think about it because they were like homeschooled. And I thought they were still studying, going to school, but they weren't. They were actually homeschooled. And so it was so convenient for me to go to them while my daughter's taking classes at home, because they were like next door, right? And I'll just go, and then they helped me produce like my first demos. And during that time, I bought a book about music industry, and I thought I could just pitch the demos to labels and record labels and all this stuff. And I thought that was how it's supposed to be done, right? So bit by bit, I knew how hard the music industry is, and I literally thought
everybody talks about how hard it is all the time, right?
Yeah. And I knew it was hard, and I heard it was cutthroat, and a lot of people get duped and used and whatnot. So I was trying to educate myself to do the right thing. And while Googling about places to go to meet other people in the music industry and to learn more, I heard about something called ASCAP, right? For the PRO. So I was like, oh, there's an event called ASCAP. So I decided to go.
And that's where we met.
I was like a girl in the candy shop. I had no idea that just being a lyricist was it's not like that anymore, right? And, so,
right.
And it was Megan Trainor and Jason Ross, and I was just like, oh my God, right? And then I printed business cards and gave it out to people. And by the end of the day, I saw my business cards on the floor. But
at Expo, right? And that's how you actually met, because we were both there, knew.
Yeah, you were there. And then that's how we knew there was a producer there who was looking. So that producer actually, when I gave him my card, because I knew he was doing like EDM and electronic stuff. And I was like, oh my God, can I write like lyrics to one of his? And he did actually contacted me like after 6 months. So 2 out of the business cards, the hundreds of business cards I gave, it worked. But like the others, like they threw it on the floor. And I was just like, okay. And I left feeling very defeated because I felt, not because of them throwing it on the floor, just because I was almost 40. And I felt like I was late in the game. I went looking like a secretary, right? And I just felt like, I don't fit, So, but I was passionate about it, and I remember I was just so happy. And lo and behold, a year after exactly, one of my songs got performed in the showcase by the She-Rocks at the ASCAP. So. When I left ASCAP the first time, I felt like, you know what, I will not give up until after 300 doors. I would open up 300 doors first.
300 doors.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because I was watching 300, the movie.
The movie.
But I'm like, you know what? I was like, maybe I was giving myself enough time not to give up too early. And I told myself, even at 300, I'll just do one more door, like 301, right? Like I just wanted to give myself all these doors, and seriously, doors started opening up after like door number 4 or 3 or whatever. Like, and the day that I decided that I wanted to be specifically a lyricist, and I wanted to make a website that talks like Amira Gadd lyricist or something. This is a funny story that my daughter, during that time, she was going to gymnastic camp, and she was begging me to get to meet her friend at gymnastic camp, whom I don't know, it was a summer camp. And the girl was pulling her mom, and my daughter was pulling my hand, and they were like, we have to meet, we have to like have a play date. And her mom turned out to be a country singer who opened up for Reba McEntire, and she's so talented, and she helped me with my demos, right? And then also her daughter's name is Lyra. And her and her husband, like the mom and her husband, are actually musicians and singers, and they decided Lyra, coming from the word lyrics and all this stuff. So it was the day that I decided to do that website. So I just felt like, it's like, it was an obvious law of attraction kind of thing. Like I felt like,
totally.
You know what, the more I feel like I can do this, the more I feel like I can. And so I started enrolling in these mentorship. I enrolled in a mentorship program for like anything that teaches me about music industry. I would read articles. I would, every day I would not pass a day without flipping a stone, and I would show up in every meeting. And then somebody had suggested to me, like a couple of people suggested to me about sync, which I had no idea what sync was. But then they were thinking, like, because I'm always busy as a mom, I could monetize my songs by doing sync. And so
what is sync for just to
Okay, so sync, it comes from the word synchronization, which means you're marrying your song to anything that, like a visual media. So anything that moves visually, it's you're putting a song to it, whether it's a movie, it's a film, it's a commercial, it's a video. So you're just putting those two together, and so that way we say sync as a short. But the business word is licensing, because literally it's like if you're licensing your song, it's you're renting your song out for a particular scene or a particular few seconds of something, right?
Right. So a
So
song has to be licensed in order to be synced with something.
yeah. So it's a business. Like I mean, it's a talent, of course. You have to have the talent to do that, but then also you have to have a business mind in order for it to work. And you have to understand the language of it. And that's why I took classes, and I'm very happy I did. Because the more I showed up in a class, I learned so much, and it cuts years. People who try to do it on their own will take a long time, and they're going to make a lot of mistakes in which you cannot afford. You can't afford, because it's a small. The music supervisors community. It's small, and if you do things wrong, they tell each other, "Stay away from that person." They have no idea what they're doing.
So I know we don't have a ton of time, but if you have, okay, so for somebody who's a brand new artist, they have a couple of songs, right? They've written their song, nothing's published, nothing is officialized yet. And let's say they've worked with 2 other people on the song, like you and I, for example. So let's say that there's a singer and there's a songwriter and there's a producer. We all made a song together. We all contributed. What is the next step? What is the first thing that has to be done first and foremost? Like, we want to pitch our songs to TV and film, but we don't know how to get started. So what's the very first thing that has to be done?
Okay, so for the first thing that has to be done is you have to make sure that your song is syncable, which means if the song is what the music supervisor is looking for. Because you can go ahead and make a song, but then if it's not exactly what is required outside, like for example, modern production is extremely important. Universal lyrics is extremely important. If you're talking about Maria and Chicago, it's very specific, because the character could be Linda, and it could be in Africa, right? So, so you know what I mean? There's, so you have to kind of educate yourself. I mean, of course, first of all, a lot of music supervisors are looking for talent, you know what I mean? Right. So if the song is about something, maybe they would love it, right? But in general, you have to make sure that the song fits. So that's the first thing. Second, you have to make sure that none of you guys are a union. If you're with the union, they're not going to consider it, because what happens is the music supervisor or who Sync Asian, they will have to pay on your behalf to the SAG, and it's so complicated. They don't want to do anything with the union. If the song is with the union, if the artist is with the union, they don't. It's, you know, so that's something that is important. Of course, when you collaborate with somebody, you have to make sure that you guys agree with the terms. So you have to have a split sheet signed and it's ready. You have to have your ducks in a row. In terms of you guys are with a PRO, your IPI numbers are correct.
What a PRO is for those, and also what's a music supervisor and what's a PRO for those who don't know.
Okay, so a music supervisor is one out of many elements of who is going to pitch your songs. A music supervisor is the person who is in charge of getting your songs in a movie or in a TV show by taking your song and taking it to the director and the investor of the project. So they're not the final, they're actually the beginning. So if you can get, a lot of people think they're the final say, they're not. That person is like the one person that will take your song to the right person. And they don't take just one song. They take a few out of the hundreds that they get, and then they showcase it to the director and then the producer of the project and the investors and all this stuff. Okay. And then there will be other people.
So like when you send a song to a music supervisor and the music supervisor wants to pitch the song, it can go through maybe 3 to 4 people until there's a final collective say on it. So that's a lot of that's a lot of approval to get, right?
Yes. Yeah. And the way to do it is I would suggest taking classes, because if you do it the right way, you're gonna cut years. and then you will gain trust, because when they find that you actually understand the language of the sync world and the business world and licensing, they will have a peace of mind that your song is cleared. And the reason why I'm saying the word cleared is because you will that's its open sesame word for your song. If your song is cleared, meaning it does not have any samples in it from other songs, right? That's another one. If you're not with the union, if you and your collaborators get along and there's no fights, because sometimes if they find out that you guys are not getting along, it's already blocked. They don't want to deal with that.
Agreement terms are strange, and then it's like not everybody's on the same page, and that can be a problem that they don't want to deal with. So.
And then also if they say, like, let's assume that the producer brought in a track and it turned out it belongs to someone else, right? And they don't mention that person. So you guys sign a split sheet, but then it turned out there's a fourth person when you guys were three. And then what happens is when that person comes and fights, they will fight the whole thing. And what happens is you are all screwed, including the music supervisor and the sync agency. Yeah. So you have to make sure that it's cleared, meaning there's no strings attached and it's easy. It's easy for the music supervisor to take it, right. And that's why what I do with my collaborations is I ask these questions before, and I talk about the split agreements at the beginning, which a lot of people hate, but I don't care because it has to be done that way. If you don't like how I do things, and the reason why I do things is I pre-clear songs for the music supervisors. And that's why a lot of people like working with me, because they know they can trust me with the ability that I can make sure that we know what we're doing rather than not knowing,
Right. So let's talk about those specific things that have to be, let's just go for it and explain all the specific things that have to be neat and tidy, all the ducks in a row when there's a song. So I know we talked about, so PROs, like there has to be an agreement, right? There has to be a written agreement of a split, right? So you and I, we typically do all equal way with the producer. We just divide everything equally, right? That's typically what we do. Everybody does things differently.
Yeah, our collaborations are all different.
All different.
Split, because we don't pay the producers per se. So equal splits are very common in the way that I do it. I like things to be win-win. Sometimes people don't like to do equal splits. Sometimes I pay for the production, and so sometimes it really depends. But like
the work for hire, when you do that,
I haven't done the work for hire yet because I'm trying to. The people that I work with in general, they're very talented, and I wanted them to get like royalties out. And so sometimes me and another collaborator will split a production cost. Or if I take care of the production cost, the other collaborator will take care of the marketing cost. So it is, like I said, it's a win-win. You have to try to figure out what's a win-win for you.
Yeah. And talk about it all up front first and get everybody's expectations and intentions out at the beginning. That's so important, right? And you and I have learned a lot along the way because so many things
we learn, yes.
Like, oh, we should have asked this question first. Damn. So then we learn for the next one, like when we're working with new people. So it's all in a day's work and experience, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so once you get your written agreement of your equal splits, I know for you particularly, we love to do one-stop agreements, one-stop cleared agreements, and it's really helpful. And sometimes me and you will both get one-stop clearance because like we'll be pitching the songs, but most of the time you do most of the pitching, right? So can you talk about what one-stop is?
Okay, so if you are pitching your song for licensing, one-stop is also another open sesame keyword, and it has to be one person only who will take care on behalf of all of the collaborators, the admin, and the pitching work, and that's it. You cannot have one-stop here and there. What you and I have, we have one-stop / easy clear, which means it could be 3 people or less who can pitch the songs at the same time. And if that's non-exclusive. So one-stop means if you own your song 100%. If there's more than one person, then the one-stop allows, it has to show in a written agreement that everybody's allowing you to pitch the song on their behalf, whether it's non-exclusive or exclusive. If it's exclusive, which means you only pitch that song to one person, one sync agency, and you cannot pitch it somewhere else, that's a peace of mind for the music supervisors. They love that.
Sure.
If it's non-exclusive, which a lot of people are doing, then the one stop really shows them that there's only one person that they have to deal with in terms of pitching or like do the admin work or sign the contract on behalf of everybody else. Most of the time, they still send the contract to everybody, but for like very fast things, dealing with one person is because before, the reason why One Stop is created is because before, like, let's assume the Beatles, right? Before, they used to have to go to every single person in the Beatles to ask, can we use this song for this movie, right? Yeah. So what happens is, I'm just using Beatles as an example, but I'm just saying, let's assume that John Lennon is like he's sleeping, right? Or he's traveling, he's not answering. They cannot pitch the song because he's not responding, even though everybody else is on agreements, right? Or somebody else is mad. Right. Paul is mad from John, right? Right. So like, so
a sense of urgency. Let's talk about urgency in the sync world.
Sync world, it's like the ER room. I'm not kidding. It's like the emergency room. I'm not kidding. It's so fast. It's like they want things yesterday. Like last Saturday, I had somebody who at 12 o'clock at night at her time, calling me around 10 o'clock my time. You know what? My split sheet was different from my metadata. And the reason why that happened is because I was still learning and I thought I did things the right way, but it was 2 years ago. And so the song was being demanded now. We don't know if it's going to be pitched or not, but I'm just saying. So she had to call me at night, 12 o'clock her time at night. She go like, you need to tell me right now. So I had to call my collaborator who is in Canada, right, at night.
And
I had to tell him, you need to confirm with me. Is this because it turned out that I did a conflict in the metadata and she goes like, she's legally binded by the split sheet agreement to go with whatever we have in the split sheet agreement. So I called him. And I confirmed with him that let's go with the split sheet. So that way she has peace of mind because we didn't have time to do another split sheet, whatever. And then I called her back and I said, okay, go with the split sheet. And then what I did is I went to the metadata sheet and I corrected it to mirror exactly what the split sheet was.
Okay.
But I did have all the files ready because what happens is, with sync, you have to have particular files ready, which is the master, the instrumental, the TV track, the stems, and the acapella. A lot of people.
What TV track is?
Oh, the TV track is just like the instrumental with just the hook on, the vocals of the hook on. Sometimes you can add oohs and ahs. Sometimes you don't have to, but it really depends again, like on the situation. And that's it. Right. That's why it's so important taking classes and showing up in conferences and asking these questions. Because guess what? It's not set in stone. Each music supervisor, each sync agent, each company, each ad agency, they want things different, right? Yeah. So you have to have everything ready. So that way, when that person wants to tweak, you tweak it really quickly and you just send it, right?
That way, when they want to use your song and they want to pay you for your song, you have your master. The master, just to be clear, guys, it's the music and the vocals, right? And you want your acapella
ownership of the song, right? Oh yeah. The master. You talk about the file. Yeah, the master is the whole song, right? Yeah.
Right. And then they TV track, right? Then an instrumental. So having all of these ready to go. And then sometimes, right, Amira, they'll do like 15-second cuts or they'll want 30-second cuts because they might just want a small section to put your song in a commercial. And that has to be ready too.
So. Yeah. I mean, if I know I'm pitching it for commercial, then I have those ready, which is a 15, 30, and 60 cuts for like the major parts. Yeah. And so with this one, like a lot of people, will have only masters or instrumental, which is fine. Most of the time they don't ask for stems, but I love having those ready because again, on Saturday at 12 o'clock at night, I need all of those. Imagine if I didn't.
This is such great information, you guys, to be prepared and to just set yourself up for winning and for success. Okay. So okay, you need to have your split sheet done with all the people you worked with. That's number one. Number two, your PRO, right? Register your song and make sure that you're either with BMI or ASCAP, whatever your PRO performance rights organization is for your royalties. That's super important, right? And then the third thing, having all of your files organized and neat and ready to go. Now let's talk about metadata. What is metadata?
Well, before we go on, I just want to say something about the files ready. I like to do something that a lot of people don't do, which is I share in a box folder all the files between me and my collaborators, even though I'm one stop. And the reason why I do that is because, first of all, we all own the song together. And then second, if I am not available and the song needs to be done now, like sent now, I can, you know, because I trust my collaborators, I can tell my like say you,
and you have a
yeah, can you send this to so-and-so now because they want it. And that's, I just want to show you that it's a team effort. You know, it's the song will be successful when we're all working together and doing things. I know exactly what I can and cannot do. I cannot sing, you know, so I'm depending on you to sing. Right? And then and you depend on me on putting the metadata like in Disco and like, you know, whatever platform and doing all this, because I studied it really hard. So we're all, you know, it's just like, remember, have fun with the process, but then also be smart, because it is a business.
Yeah,
it's not a hobby. If you're trying to sell your song to someone or rent your song, it's a business.
So what is metadata? What is metadata?
Metadata is the song's information. Literally, that's what it. Anything about it, whether like who's the artist, who's master ownership, who's the writers on it, you know, the information that goes with that, the IPI numbers, who's the publisher. If you're self-published, that's a win-win. I urge everybody to be self-published, especially with BMI people, because BMIs are depending on one IPI, but then just to let you know, a lot of the money goes to a black box. How do you know if you know, if you're using your writer's IPI for your publishing IPI, if you're getting the money from it? Some people do it and I don't, but then I ended up I'm an ASCAP writer and an ASCAP publisher, but I'm also a BMI publisher. And the reason why I do that is because I became a publisher for some of my BMI collaborators, so I can help them, but then they eventually have to be self-published, you know? So, so
genres go in metadata, the genres of the song that you're doing.
Genre, track duration, the tempo, the feel, the moods, the keywords. And again, I suggest everybody taking a class and learning about all this.
So who do you love to learn from? Tell everybody the people that mentored you and influenced you heavily, because you also now have been doing workshops and running classes and running. It's amazing. So it's great.
So personally, the people that I like, okay, so my first mentor is the person who taught me a lot about music industry at the beginning, is Adam McInnes from Music Industry Contact, I think it's, yeah. And what I loved about that particular mentorship is that he has something called the Neverland Retreat, which is a songwriting retreat, and we went to Costa Rica and we got to meet all the group there, which I absolutely love, because I ended up not only having a really good time over there, but I ended up having a lot of collaborations and a lot of friends from there, right? So that was the first one. And then the second one was Catch the Moon Music Licensing. They had a class, and I learned so much from Kathy Heller and the group and the mentors who were there. And lo and behold, I eventually got hired to be a mentor as well now. Part-time. So I'm now teaching everybody what I learned, right? I love also Michael Elsner. And he has a really great program that he provides for sync. It's specifically like, I think it's like for producers and music libraries more. He has more than 2,000 placements. He just got a placement in Star Wars, The Mandalorian. So like whatever he's doing is very effective, and he's just such a great person to talk to. And then the Cash to Moon group, like I ended up having more friends and more collaborators from there. And then to hone my craft in songwriting, I took several classes with Susan Koch. She actually made me stronger as a songwriter. Like I thought I was just a lyricist. She's the one who told me I'm a songwriter, because she discovered that I had come up with catchy melodies. And I took about 12 classes with her.
Wow. Yeah,
Um,
Susan's amazing.
Susan is amazing. Yeah, I bought the bundles, you know, to make it cheaper, and it was really nice. And then from her group, I ended up becoming friends with all these different amazing people, and also collaborated with. So the key is show up and learn, and then also network, and then you never know. And so I ended up every time I have a collaboration, depending on what the project is, I can reach out to this person or that person, because at the end, if I'm writing a song for a brief for hip hop, I'm not gonna go to a pop music, a pop singer. I'm gonna go to somebody who's really good with rap and R&B and hip hop, right? So, but then the same thing, like if I want somebody who's singer songwriter, I'm not gonna not go to my rapper friend, right? So the more people that you surround yourself with and create a team, the more you can, you know, it's easy to not be lost. Like you can, you know, and it's fun too. Like I mean, I'm having fun becoming friends with all of you guys. Like, you know, it's so much fun. And you know, I'm surrounding myself with a team to work with. So
Yeah, it's amazing. So let's talk about what is the process when starting a song together. Let's give everybody the inside scoop on what we do from top to bottom. Once a brief,
you and I, yeah.
and it's like very specific, and we'll talk about what a brief is, and then you call me and you're like, the song needs to be in by 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, I want to also mention two other places that I go to before we do that. Sync Keepers, the Sync Summit. Mark Frazier, he also has an amazing program, and then the Guild of Music Supervisors. I show up in those meetings as well, and I just love it too. And then I lately became a member of Hard Drive record label. It's non-exclusive, where they also
Can you repeat the name of it?
Hard Drive.
Hard Drive.
Yeah, Mickey Shiloh is the CEO, and she was mentioned in Forbes 30 under 30 of people who are like successful and she was like, she wrote like for like big artists, and they also bring in sync people, speakers. And what I love about that, the reason why I went into it is because I want to keep on writing songs regardless, whether it's going to be for sync or not. I just want to keep on making songs, because I mean that's the way to practice makes perfect, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then that's a different group of collaborators with, you know. So so going back to what you're saying, writing a song is different. Like it really depends, you know what I mean? Like I get inspired all the time. Like I literally tripped over the kitchen
so many great ideas and inspirations and the things you come up with. I love working with you. Your melodies are always super great too, and you come up with a lot of fun rhythmic things. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, you and I, because we now know each other almost 2 years, like we now understand each other. Like I understand your process. I understand what you like and what you don't like. And then you know how it works. So it's good. Like the more that we know each other, the more it's like it's easy. Like we get things done, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Faster.
Yeah.
Because time is of the essence always.
Always. Yeah. But writing a song, it really depends on the situation. Like I got inspired.
Legends Within. Can we talk about Legends Within when we wrote that whole process? Legends Within.
Oh, Legends Within. Okay. I was actually listening to the song today in the morning. I love it. I love this song. So Legends Within, I have a few songs. I know the sync agent of a particular exclusive company, and he's well known in the sync industry, and he asked me if I had a song for a particular brief that he had. And the song, they wanted it in 2 days, right? So I decided to reach out to you, and you had already known Thomas, the producer, and asked you both if you guys are available to write this song really fast, right? It was during the time when I still rushed like doing songs in 2 days. I'm not doing that anymore. my adrenaline is gone, like dried up from doing that, chasing deadlines. So
I remember it was March of 2020. Yeah,
we did it last year.
It was
early. It's been a year now. It's a year.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was like just when things were getting really scary with the pandemic, and when we were you know, we weren't even told that we had to wear masks yet or anything, that none of that had happened yet. We just were
we felt something bad was happening, right? Yeah.
Around like March like 15th or something, and like so that was
yeah. So we had a brief that needed specific words in it and whatever, and we decided to write the song to the brief. And so Thomas had a track for us, a basic track, and then we wrote the song together. You and I met over Zoom, and we explored different lyrics and ideas, and we merged our ideas together. We always do that. Like we open up like a Google Doc, right? And we put ideas, you put ideas, and then we merge it together. Like we kind of tailor it. And then after that, you took the song and you recorded it, and then sent the organized files to Thomas, which Thomas ended up putting it together, and we were done by that morning of. So we worked on it Tuesday, and we gave it to that person on Thursday morning. Oh, what I did is I took the song and I created the cover art. Right? Remember we did the cover art from Canva, and then I added the metadata. I organized it, and then it got signed. It the director loved it. It was for a TV show. Loved it, but then he chose another song, which happens all the time, by the way. It happens all the time. It doesn't mean that you're pitching a song that it's a fine. Even if you get a quote, like a request quote, it doesn't mean that it got placed. It's like getting there. So you don't know until it's being aired, or like, or like they're paying you. So, but the song is so good, and I loved it. I loved the song. It was so good. It was, and every single person that listens to the song, they are wowed. You know what I mean? Music supervisors love picking a song that's already genuinely made, as opposed to songs that we write to briefs. So, but we are lucky because you and I already write songs that are heartfelt, and it's good. You know what I mean? So, so if it's forced, they don't like it and they feel it. But we're lucky. Like I said, our song does not feel like that because we genuinely felt it. We wrote a little, like the line that we talked about, it's dangerous to be alive, because that was what's happening. We were like so confused. Yeah.
And I remember the first lyric of the song, because again, on the brief that you got, it was saying that they wanted a song that was going to be powerful and uplifting and motivating. And that was kind of perfect. That was perfectly conducive to what we were going through at the time. And we just started.
We dedicated to the frontline heroes.
Yeah. And then the first line, we were laying down in fields of grass, scented meadows in the wind. I just kind of had a vision of being at peace and in a place where you're not worrying about anything. And that's
very visual. Yes. Yeah.
So, and then the chant part, that was like totally your idea. And the rhythmic part, you're like, I want it to hit hard. And
the scars are stars. I was just like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Because they're guiding, like they're guide us, it just, for some reason, I wanted to say that even if we're hurt, that pain literally, it's meant, when you feel pain, it's meant for a reason. The pain guides you to tell you there's something wrong and you have to fix it. Yeah. So I don't know how we ended up doing this, but then the idea that they're like, because I read a quote about how pain tells you where you're heading in life. So it's like they're guiding us, and then I'm like, stars are like constellation, they guide us, and like, so it's like, you never know the ideas that come up with unless you're sitting down in collaboration. And that's why I love collaboration. I love it, because I can come up with something, but then you can come up with something that will blow my mind away. Like I didn't think about it, right? And that one makes the song stronger. A lot of people are scared of doing that because it's either their ego, they don't want people to say like, that was my idea or whatever, or also they just don't like the idea of owning a song with someone else. To me, I feel it works out good for me, because the more collaborations we work on, the more we're building our song, like our catalog. Like, how many songs did you and I do last year? We did 5 good ones, I think, right?
I don't remember how many. I mean,
right?
I felt like we made more music. I mean, I know I made more music in that one year than I have in any other year in my life.
Yeah, because we're pushing. Like, we're like, oh, there's this and this. Like, so I love working on deadlines, but now I feel like, you know what? I already know what the sync is looking for. The world is by showing up at places.
Right.
And so And so when we do that, when we have collaborations, we have accountability partners. You know what I mean? Like, I like, let's do this. You have somebody else telling you to do this. And it's for your advantage,
Right.
but
Sharing and supportive environment. So do you feel like that definitely makes it more easy and approachable, and like kind of having that supportive team aspect of it? Do you kind
because I love just being in a group like friends. That's my personality. Like I love that. First of all, I'm not a singer, so I depend on you singers, right? And I'm not a music producer. I'm a producer. I love to execute an idea and make it happen. So I have to have music producers in my team, and I have to have people like you in my team, right? And so so I love it. I love and plus we're in shutdown in quarantine.
right.
Just missing people. And so when we're meeting on Zoom and we're doing something that we love and we're talking with somebody, I mean, if you think about it, we need that. We need the human contact, the human something. And me as a mom, I'm constantly doing laundry and cleaning up after people a lot, right? And so I love doing this because it's my me time. That's my me time. Writing songs is my me time, and I feel productive and I feel good about myself when I do something for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
it's my daydream.
Yeah.
It's not a daydream. It's my runaway, my hideout. Like leave me alone. Let me do a song, right?
That's like a song. My hideout, my runaway.
My hideout, yeah.
Well, once again, you guys, this is Amira Gadd we're talking to. If you're just tuning in, I just wanted to let you know that we're having an incredible interview with a producer and a lyricist right now. Great, great person, true friend of mine. We're coming to you from Laguna Beach. Have it on the map. And next up, I think we should dive into publishing and let's talk about some publishing companies. I mean, if you're comfortable with throwing out some of the ones that we use and have some of our songs with, I think it's cool to just get some names out there of publishing companies and give people some kind of idea of how they would go about submitting their song to a publishing company. And again, like just some of those rookie mistakes that you see new artists doing and sending their music to people without having some things done, like the things that we haven't really talked about yet, because there's still a couple of more things, right, that are specific that like don't approve, that you shouldn't, do's and don'ts. So let's talk about that if you can, in the realm of music publishing companies.
Okay, so music publishing I don't have all of my songs with music publishing companies, and I want people to understand to not mix up things. You've got record labels and you've got publishing companies, and they've got record labels who are publishing companies. See, these are three things. Yep. There are sync agents and sync agencies and then music supervisors, right? But then there are sync agencies who are also publishers, okay? And there are publishers who are just publishers. So these are so many different things, and I don't put all of my eggs in one basket. So when you're with a publishing company and you're signed with them, it makes it harder on a music supervisor, unless they are a sync agency. So if you're a record label who is a publishing company and you're submitting your song to sync, most likely they're not gonna take it from you.
So for example, let's just give an example. So let's say you're signed to Warner Brothers Music, right? And Warner Brothers is the publisher also. And
then they are the one-stop. You are not.
So why is that a problem?
It is a problem
because it's a problem for music supervisors.
Well, I mean, unless they have a really good relationship with them and they are easy with it. But other than that, sometimes they, music supervisors also and sync agents, they go with a budget. So if the publisher is fighting on behalf of the artist to get paid in a particular way, the sync agencies will stay away from them. And that's why they prefer a lot of indie artists, because they don't have, and self-published, right, because they don't have to deal with those big negotiations and whatnot. They do go look for Warner Brothers library. They do that. But then you don't own the song anymore. Warner Brothers does, right? And so they take the royalties. You do take the writer's royalties, but the publishing royalties, I don't know if you take it or not. I don't know what the terms are. And this is extremely important. And thank you for bringing this up. You have to always read the contract that you're signing.
Mhm.
And you have to always have an entertainment lawyer read the terms to you. If you try to do it on your own, good luck. Don't complain later. And I've had this with a collaborator. Even though the exclusive sync agent, who is also a publisher, who takes 100% of publishing, he told me, make sure with your collaborators to let them know that he takes 100%. I did. I said that in the email, and I asked them, please review the contract.
Mhm.
Please review it. And they said, okay, and they signed it. And then after half a year, that person goes like, oh, I didn't know they take 100% publishing. I didn't this. And I'm like, we told you to read the contract. We told you this. And I even told you in the email, oh, I was having a hard time during that time, and I didn't. And they got really upset, right? But you know what I mean? It's just like, you cannot blame other people about something that so you have to take things in your hand. Yeah, the good old days of having the record label taking care of you, it's really gone.
Yeah.
You're on your own as an artist. And if you really don't want to be used or duped or anything, you must learn everything that has to do with the music industry's laws, the old one and the new ones, because there's a lot of new ones right now that we have like all these digital platforms, right? And then we've got the old ones, and they're merging together. It's just too much. I mean, it's too much, and it's frustrating and it's exhausting. But that's the reality of if you want to be in it and you want to make money, then you better educate yourself and you better ask questions. Let's assume you cannot, for some reason, take a class. Then you better read books and read articles and show up at places where you can ask questions, where you don't have to pay. Because other than that, I mean, nothing is given. People are not going to hold your hand and say, oh, you have a nice voice, let me do this for you. It does not work that way, you know? And unfortunately, a lot of people are expecting that. So, yeah.
Totally agree. And especially being here in LA, it's super, you know, everybody's working really hard. There's a lot of competition in the sync world. And
there's a lot of competition, but there's a lot of opportunities.
Right.
So the reason why a lot of people are not discovered is because they're not showing up and they're not doing it the right way. So
right. It's a constant dynamic thing, and educating yourself frivolously and as much as you can is definitely obliged. Yes, for sure. Okay, so now let's also talk about putting your music out there, right? So why don't you tell everybody some of the platforms that are used to release your music on streaming services? I think that'd be really
I know that's
one. We can pick one to talk about. The one that you're most familiar with.
I want to talk about more than one, and there's a reason for that one. So I released my songs via DistroKid. It's a distribution company. They're very easy to use. They have a tab that says bank, where your royalties can go through it and to your collaborators, so you don't have to pay them. And, you know, everybody gets. And then after, I wait till the end of the year to have it, because, you know, we only get paid in cents. So just when it accumulates, and then I can transfer it to my bank. So, or like to PayPal to my bank. And so I personally like that. Other people use different platforms. Spotify, there was an issue very recently with it.
Let's talk about it. Topic right now.
Yeah, and a lot of the artists are literally like really crying. They're on the verge of tears because we're being treated really badly. So even I just found out yesterday that even promoting on the playlist, if you promote and you pay much money on it, you actually get booted out of Spotify. The song gets booted out, it doesn't make sense, because you are an artist. You're supposed to promote yourself. So why are you being punished promoting yourself? I don't understand. So this is why I want to talk to you about the other platform. So now a lot of people this year, what they're trying to do is to take their song to Bandcamp or like Patreon or whatever, so they can get paid properly. But the problem is you don't get exposed much. So it's on you to try to tell people, hey, like I have this and this, right? So I still use Spotify, more like to announce that I have a song out. I don't go crazy over how much stream numbers I do have or not, because with all the talk about algorithm and whatnot,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna chase it. I'm not gonna ruin my mood. I mean, at first I was upset, but then I'm like, you know what? If they're being stupid, you know what? I'll just find other ways. You know, you don't have to depend all your livelihood, especially when they're paying us cents, right? So what I like about DistroKid is that they go through, you know, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Deezer, all these different places. I have no idea if people are listening to my songs there, but just the idea to know that my song is on Amazon makes me feel very happy. I'm like, yes, I'm on Amazon too, right? So, but do I know if people are listening to it there? I have no idea. Maybe it's my international. I have friends who wanted to support me. They said that they bought my song on Amazon, which is like at one, like not Amazon, on Apple, which I set it at like $1 and something. But when I'm looking at my report, I'm getting like 9 cents. Like, okay, $1. My friend is paying $1 and I'm getting 9 cents.
How does that
Like,
work?
how does that work? So I just figured at the very end of the day, you have to be creative on how you're selling your song. So don't really depend on one platform. Try like Bandcamp. Somebody I know, they did a collaborator of three. They just released a song on Bandcamp and they made $150 in 2 days, and they divided it between themselves. So it's possible that you can make money different ways. You know.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, in terms of monetization, there's so many different ways to be creative and to try to have your music infiltrate various platforms.
Songtrader is another one.
Song creators.
Songtrader paid me really good money, royalties money, from a song that I released via them. I don't have it there anymore because I want to give it to an exclusive company. But then I was very surprised. They paid me way more than Spotify, like way more. So I was just like, okay, they're doing something right. So maybe try Spotify, you know? Again, don't put all of your eggs in one basket.
For sure. And I was just in a seminar yesterday, and it was kind of it was a speed dating sort of thing. And one of the girls was in marketing, and she told me that she didn't say any names, but she was saying that at some major record labels that they actually had specific Google Sheets that were specially catered to these particular labels, and they filled them out for playlist submissions.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's typically when you submit a song on Spotify, you have a form on your artist's Spotify profile, and you type in, you know, the metadata and the genre, and you fill out a paragraph saying what your song is about and different keywords about what it means, and that's how you pitch it, right?
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be the only way that you pitch it, but she was saying that no, that actually record labels have a special vice, and that they do Google Sheets instead, and that it was more particular, and that they were kind of
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting.
The reasons why metadata was not taught to artists, because only the high end people and
some people keep the metadata on the low.
They kept it on the low, but now I teach it. I hope that I don't get a knock on the door now. Amira Gadd has disappeared. No, seriously, because I was just like, why was it so hard for me to get information about metadata?
Yeah.
It took me a good year and a half to kind of pull the pieces together from different platforms just to understand. And it's not hard, but then it was kept. It's the best kept secret, in my opinion. It's because this is how they filter people, and that's how people can be on the top and others don't.
Right.
So that's why I'm telling you, educate yourself. If you do the metadata right, your song will be showed. It will. Yeah, and if you don't know how to do it,
right.
I'm sorry, but it's on you. Now that I said it, like find out how you do the metadata right.
So for example, guys, I'm a music supervisor, let's say, and I'm needing a mid-tempo song, 110 BPM. I'm needing it to be one stop. I'm needing it to be acoustic, and I'm needing it to be indie folk vibey. Okay. So as a music supervisor, I have a catalog of music, right? And what am I going to do, Amira?
Meaning what? Like you have all
Like,
like you're the music supervisor.
how is the
So
metadata
music
going to help me
budgets.
find that person in my whole catalog of music?
Okay, so most of the music supervisors, they prefer finding songs by going to sync agents and libraries
Mm-hmm.
because they get inundated with hundreds or even thousands of emails from people like us trying to reach out to them. And
Mm-hmm.
so what happens is when you sign your song to a sync agent or a library or whatnot, they already do the pre-clearance for them. So when the music supervisor who wants something right now, they don't have to they don't really have to deal with
Easier.
um, to kind of like listen to to kind of figure out, because some of the songs that are being submitted, they're not high quality either, or like it's not, so when
Yeah.
they go to that middle person,
Middleman, yeah.
it's much easier for them. So as a
Right.
music supervisor, I'm going to go to the sync agents or whatever. If music, and then some music supervisors, they love to discover talent. And
Mm-hmm.
so they go to Spotify, they go on YouTube, they
Mm.
actually go on billboards or whatever it is. They try, oh, even Instagram. I found out that there's a music supervisor who tries to find somebody through hashtags on Instagram. And they found this indie artist, and they got discovered like that. And they DM'd them. So in the hashtag, okay, speaking of which, the keyword was that person was looking for like an 80s modern song track. And so what that person did, she I think she wrote down hashtag 80s 80s music vibe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that artist came up in the search. And then she clicked on her, and then she found her. Do you see what I mean? So
Lots of ways to get discovered.
so there's a lot of ways. So if you like hashtag what you do, if you're genre specific and you hashtag that genre, most likely people will search you up like that. Showing up at places like the Guild of Music Supervisors. If you show up, they actually like looking at putting the names to the faces. So open up your camera.
Mm-hmm.
And when they see that you show up, they actually take it to heart. It doesn't mean that they're gonna contact you right away, but then at least they're gonna. You don't know, right? A place like, you see what I mean? Like Sync Keepers, they bring in Sync Keepers Catch the Moon, and then also Sync Cafe by Mark from the Sync Summit, Mark Frazier. They bring in all these music supervisors to speak. Mm-hmm. And every time when you show up, Mark or Catch the Moon, when they ask their speakers, how do we contact you? So some of them will say, contact me through Mark, right? Or some of them are generous enough to, only because of these people showing up, to like, here's my contact information. You can send me 2 songs only that are like, say, Kaleidoscope Pop or like the Treehouse Trap or something like that. You know what I mean? So you never know. Every time I show up, even though I've done these conferences so many times, right? You would think that the information is redundant. They are never. Yes, half of them I already know, but because we're in a pandemic, we don't know about what's happening with the recording or like the it's like last year's Sync Asia's, like the Sync World last year is different than this year. And so when I show up, I know what's happening and I know what's expecting, and I know which shows are not there anymore because they are bankrupt right now, and I know what shows are coming up now. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing, guys. Like the industry is happening and changing and very dynamic in real time.
Yes, in real time. Right.
So I think it's so super important what Amira is saying, and like shout out to Mark Frazier and Sync Summit. That is an amazing seminar. I've had such great, so much information comes out of there. So, and you're the one who told me about that. So I was very, very happy to become a part of that family.
And and look what I did too. I introduced you to all these people on there, and I said, if you guys are looking for a vocalist, so what happened? How many people did you get from them?
Oh, so many. And they're all great people. They're all people that are spending time, and because there's so many creators out there too, guys. And when you're trying to figure out who to collaborate with, you've got to be picky and choosy and selective, because everybody, not everybody is on the same track or the same, you know what I mean? There's so many things that go into it. So it's like when you're in a place like that, you're already around people that are very serious about it. So that's a great starting point to be at.
Yes, and then also too, remember the radio world is different than the sync world when it comes to production. So if you want
Mm.
to create a song for the sync and licensing world in particular, I urge you to collaborate with someone who understands it, and the producer especially, they understand the production for sync kind of thing. Because remember, the songs are going to be synchronized with conversations or under conversations. So they have to produce it in a particular way.
Mhm.
And the more knowledgeable the people that you work with are with sync, the better the song will come out in that particular way. If you're doing it only for radio, that's different, right? So sometimes the songs that are done for radio works with sync. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, to me, to save time and money, instead of going back and forth and editing and trying to fixing it, just learn the stuff from the beginning. So that way,
For
you
sure.
know,
And it's a
yeah,
lot.
it is a lot.
Time for
It is.
seminar. We're covering a lot in this small time frame, and maybe some people will be overwhelmed if this is the first time they're hearing about it, but I mean, it's a lot of information. So yeah, it is overwhelming. The more you put yourself in these different seminars and sit down and learn about it, the more educated you'll become. And it's not impossible. It's a great way for independent artists to get discovered and make some money and get your music out there, especially again with the pandemic changing everything in real time and production's changing. And brings me to my next question, Amira. So artists aren't going to just submit all of their music to, okay, just go crazy and like, oh, Google music supervisors on IMDb and just submit to random people, right? It's good to target and to, well, okay, sometimes you shouldn't even reach out directly, right? Let's talk about all this. What is the best way to go about? What do you recommend? And let's talk about the publishing companies that, there's great ones out there. There's Rat Dance Party, Glow Music Group, Music of the Sea.
Some sync agencies are publishers, some
So
aren't. And that's important to make sure, because again, you have to research. So your question was about how do people reach out to them?
talking about those companies. Okay, so first let's talk about the companies. So what is Music of the Sea's role as a music publisher?
Music of the Sea is a sync agency and a publisher.
Right.
So what he does is if you sign your song with him, with them, then according to the brief that he gets from the directors or the investors or the whatever, or the
Right.
music supervisors even, he would send a playlist of the songs that they have from his catalog. Could be, our song, it could be other people's song. Like say like the 5 best that could match that, and send it to the music supervisor. And then if the music supervisor likes it and say it gets placed after whatever decisions are being made, then he reaches out to us and tells us to sign, getting the money from him or how we get paid. That's like one way. And then him being as a publisher, meaning he takes the songs and he releases it to all these like TV networks or whatnot.
Okay.
And so he published, so that way the song gets exposure, and it could be under blanket licensing, whatnot. You have to read the contract. So that's one way of doing it. Rat Dance Party is completely different. Rat Dance is more like a sync agency.
Okay. No publishing at all through Rat Dance Party.
No publishing, and she's not a sync agent. She's a music supervisor.
Very interesting.
Yeah, she's a direct music supervisor, and she does her music supervision work through Rat Dance Party.
Okay, so it's a lot going on, guys. So if you want to, so the thing is getting access to briefs is a whole thing in itself, right? Getting access.
Yeah, and not everybody gets access to the brief.
Not everybody gets access to the brief. So how does one, and this is not a one-answer question, but how does one go about, that somebody's got a catalog of music and somebody's like, oh, I think that my music would be great for this TV show. Is it possible to just submit your music to that music supervisor and find their contact info online somewhere and just give them a cold email? Is that something you would recommend doing?
You can do that. I do not recommend cold, but some people get results by doing cold. I mean, if your song is absolutely amazing and it's exactly what they're looking for and it's high quality, it catches their attention from the beginning and all this stuff, then yeah, they're probably going to reply. But there's no guarantee. Again, like I said, because you have to research first what that person is. Sometimes when you go to their website, it says non-solicited submissions. So if you send that person an email and it says non-solicited, you get blocked right away. They block right away, by the way, just to let you know.
Right. And
So
when you say
no
high
mercy.
quality,
The what?
when you
No
say
mercy.
high quality song,
Yeah.
for a lot of new artists, that's a term that they don't know what it means. What does it mean to have a high
demo? It means no demo. It has to be fully mastered. It has to be fully mixed at least. You know what I mean?
How? Because I'm asking these questions as if somebody who had no idea about it could come in and learn and understand and be able to start pitching their music. So mixing and mastering. So how does one go about getting their song mixed and mastered? And how much should they be paying to do that?
It really depends. I mean, really, first of all, it depends on your budget. And then second, maybe if you have a really good friend, maybe you guys can just do splits instead of paying. If you don't mind paying, then, I mean, of course, if you have like $10,000, then go to the top of the top if you think it's needed. Because not every song needs to be top notch. Like you have to, it depends on the genre. Some like genres, you need to make it like clear. But something like singer-songwriter, how much can you mix that or master that?
Right.
You have to give it that indie feel as well. You have to give it that folky feel. So if you make it extra shiny, it wouldn't be folky anymore. Do you see what I mean? So it really depends on your project and what you as an artist, what your brand is, right? That's the first thing. Second, I know Sound Better has all these amazing mixing or mastering. I ask people around what their experiences are. I usually like to ask them, the person who's going to mix or master, to give me examples of their work. So if I can see, to be honest, I've been lucky enough to work with people most of the time, producers who actually are engineers and who can mix as well. So I didn't have to go out a lot. Some vocalists, like, you know, depends on the vocalist, they are extra, they have that ear that they want their vocals to be in a particular way. And so they have the right to be picky and to have a particular person to bring it to how they like to be sounded like. So it really depends. Most of the time I don't have to go outside, but sometimes people want a particular way. I think I had a couple of projects where a music supervisor was asking me, he likes a song, but the mix needs to be mixed better. So I had to send it to somebody that I know and work in sync.
Yeah.
To mix
talking about that a little bit more. So, because for some people who don't know, there is a difference between being a recording engineer, being a mixing engineer, being a music producer. A lot of producers will tell you that they wear all the hats. They have to. Yeah, exactly. Because they kind of have to, you know, mix and master their own stuff to get the ball rolling. But each thing is kind of an art form, especially mastering. And so distinguishing that, and, you know, when you and I work with certain producers and we can hear that quality sound, we know it and we love it. And we try to stick with those people and keep branching out too, because there's so many great artists out there to work with. So we do our best in terms of figuring it out and working it out with all parties and seeing, you know, if people are willing to invest money in getting a song mixed or mastered professionally. And then we kind of go from there and all of that stuff, right? So it just depends on the song, the person, the project, and what we're aiming for and all that, right?
Yeah, and so it's important to know at the very end that we all have to come to an agreement, even if it has to be a compromise, to make what's best for the song. So if you need to, like, say, you know, if you need to have it better mixed by someone else, even though, you know, someone in the producer says he can't, then let's all pitch in and then let's make it happen.
Right.
Sometimes the songs don't get finished because somebody does not want to pay or whatever.
Right.
I like things to be done fast and just done, because I don't like open projects. And so I don't mind pitching in for the sake of the song, the result of the song. Because at the end, like now we're in the pandemic, in real life, I live in Laguna Hills, you live in Los Angeles. If I would go to you to finish the song, I'll pay probably like about, I don't know how many dollars for gas. So like you know what I mean? Like say, let's assume $30 for gas, right? Going back and forth. I'm not spending, so that $30, I would give it to you to take it to somebody who will make the song better. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's not like, so you kind of have to think about the business, you know, and you know, no Starbucks and no lunch together. So you and I, we love sushi. So for the outing, for finishing the song, I saved about what, $75. So I'll give you that $75 just because I could have spent the same thing going to you. You know what I mean? So
exactly. And again, guys, talking about all this stuff up front, you know, and being upfront about
upfront, right?
For me, when I sit down and do a song, I always put my all, even if it's a small, tiny project. I mean, I always put my all. So, I mean, for me to really go from top to bottom with a song, I can sit down and record vocals from as little to 3.5 hours to 8 hours, getting the harmonies and the ad libs and all that stuff, right? So it's a lot of time. So, and you know, Amira takes her own time to sit down and write songs as well. So everybody's putting a lot of their own investment into it, and that's valuable. Your time is it's very valuable. Everybody on the project, the producer, you know, so we want everybody to win in the end is super important thing. So communicating up front about what you know, just making sure everybody's on the same page. And like, again, I love doing equal splits for me personally, because it's like we're all working together, and it's worked for me that way. So I know some songwriters also who won't work with other artists at all, right? Diane Morin is one of them. I mean, she works with other artists, but she works as a solo songwriter.
I know.
And
no, we're in a different world. We're not like how it used to be. She's still the traditional Diane, and she already accomplished what she did. We are in absolutely a different world right now.
Yeah.
And collaboration has become a big trend since like what, a year ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And everybody's pushing everybody to collaborate, because you know what? I think it's good because, first of all, the more collaborations you have, the more you're out there and people get to know you from different venues, right? I'll give you an example. The song that I have a song that got released yesterday, who I am, right? It's called I Am. Yes. The producer, I had written the song for Cash the Moon's 5-day challenge with somebody who didn't become a student. That was 2 years ago. And he had given me like a melody, hum, whatever, right? And then he's gone. He doesn't want to, you know, finish. So I had the lyrics since 2 years ago. And then the producer gave me a track end of December, telling me like, oh, I have this track and I want to wrap 2020 with the, you know, see if I can finish, you know, because in 2021 I'm going to have new beats and I want to see if I can. So when I heard it, it just sounded very like I felt like I was like, you know, somebody who's like, I was actually going online buying a lot of things on sale. And so it just, that song felt like I was just like, you know, showing off in my living room, right? And I was just like, oh my God, this sounds like the song, you know. So I reached out to the singer because she had been asking me to collaborate with her for like 2 years now. And we keep on pushing it. I swear, 2 years. Because I met her at Catch the Moon. And I noticed at her post, she's always like trying different fashionable things. Like she's trying to, you know, and I'm like, okay, you know what, she's asking me to, you know, and I haven't given her a chance to have a collaboration, and I love her. And I felt like, okay, her delivery of this particular song would be exactly what I wanted. So I met with her. I have the track on Zoom, and I'll get to the point to why I'm talking to you about this, right? And we can talk about collaborations and why it's a team. Yeah. And we finished the song literally in 30 minutes. Like it was so fast because, you know, and she came up with the line, I don't need a crown. That was like, whoa, I just love it. Like I had everything else and I had the melody in my mind, but she came up with, that's why I love the collaboration, because like you came up with something so sassy and so swaggery. It's just like literally, it's like the cherry on top of the cake. And then so so the producer, like he finished it really, Paul, like he finished it really like right there, right? So what happened was he did this, he did that. Jacqueline, she created the video and she asked me, "Can you release it?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll release it." And then and then what happened was, so I speaking of the collaboration in my part, I mean, I'm not just a lyricist or a songwriter too, and talk about the admin work. So I had to take the song, put the metadata, review the lyrics, right? And then research who's good to take the song, because that's another beast. I cannot just, and then it turned out this is why collaboration is good. Paul already had people who would be interested in it because he got a brief. And then Jacqueline already found out somebody in UK who wants to sign the song. And then I haven't even had the chance to, because I was so involved in the Sync Summit event, I haven't had the chance to even pitch it out. But already 2 of the collaborators. So you see how the teamwork works?
Everybody works together in a different way.
Everybody comes together. He's not just a producer, but he went out, and then Jacqueline is not just a singer or and she recorded the vocals and sent it to him. So we all did something together. And imagine if you have different collaborations and you've done that, especially with people who are in sync, you'll have people who would help you pitch the song out. You see what I mean? Like and the vibe, you have to be a very good vibe person. You have to I don't know how to explain it. Like you have to have fun, like really, and be knowledgeable. And already Paul had already placements, and Jacqueline has already placements. So the song was so fast done because we already know, without even explaining to each other what's supposed to be done. It's just like it went all together. You see what I mean? So
now we're going to talk more about you directly.
Oh. Okay.
Directly you.
Okay.
So are you always looking for other artists to collaborate with and producers? Is this something kind of ongoing for
Yes.
you?
Yeah, I do.
So
I do. I already have a team, but I don't mind. I'm at the point where a lot of people are reaching out to me asking for collaborations. So, and it depends. Some I say yes to, and some I have to think about it. And some are still waiting because it's like I only have certain time. You know what I mean?
What would you say that people love about working with you? What would people say is their favorite thing about working with you?
It's so weird that you're making me talk about myself, but then I get a lot of people telling me that I'm easy to work with, and that I'm meticulous with details and on top of things. Yeah.
Anything else? You can talk yourself up more. This is
I don't know. Like funny. I don't know. I know.
What would you say maybe separates you from other lyricists that one would work with, if anything at all? Do you think there's something about your songwriting and about your work ethic that stands out that makes you unique?
The work ethics. I mean, I think everybody is talented and everybody's unique. You cannot really compare somebody with somebody. I have never felt like one singer was better than another, or like I really care about work ethics. So what, like, say for example, you, like what separates you out of somebody who sounds exactly the same like you and has the same genre is that you literally pay attention to details. You work on things right away. You don't drag. You honor deadlines, which I think is very important, and a lot of people don't understand it, because I've had to work with people who, even though I've said it multiple times about the deadline, they just crickets, like, hello, you know what I mean? And then they make it seem like I'm tense or whatever. I'm like, no. So to me, I'd rather work with somebody who has work ethics than talent. More, I mean, talent is important, but then easygoing people who understand that it's not about what I want per se, it's about what the business wants. And a lot of people can maybe mistake that. However I deal with people or talk with people or collaborate with people, it depends on what the market wants.
That's
it's
great.
Not about me per se. I'm building, yes, my catalog, but then I'm trying to fill a need that the music supervisors want. And the music supervisors are saying the same thing. And even record labels right now, they're looking for people that understand the business more than talent. This talent is extremely important. But then if you're really hard to deal with, and I'm not going to use the words that they use because it's like really like, it's a lot of like, but they don't want to deal with somebody who's in asshole. You know, like, oh, beep, right. They don't want to deal with the beep and the beep.
Right.
Bottom line. And it's the same thing with me. I don't have time. I'm in this because I love it. I really am in this because
in the midst of, yeah, exactly. And how do you, and so in the midst of all of this, what is Amira's sense of how do you stay grounded and take yourself out of this for a minute to keep your mental health and to keep just to keep sane, because the music, this is demanding stuff, right? So what do you do for yourself to take yourself out of this for a minute? And like, are there any outlets that you have to stay focused? And I love asking this question because it's valuable. Your response is valuable to everyone. Everyone can use new forms of taking breathers, and everybody has a different vice, a different outlet to help them recollect. So do you have any?
As of right now, because of quarantine, so I used to work out outside. I don't like gyms or whatnot. So I used to work out outside, and I stopped doing that because I've become lazy and become one with the furniture. So, you know what I mean? Like, just like, yeah. So I don't, and I used to, I'm a beach person, and I used to surf or like try to learn how to surf. I stopped all of this because I'm literally taking quarantine seriously. So,
Yeah.
so right now, my new outlet is memes. I'm addicted to memes, and I very much look forward to the end of the day where I sit down. I swear to God, when I sit down in my bed, that 10 minutes before I sleep, I dedicate my 10 minutes to looking for memes, and I love them. Love them, love them, love them.
I love when you tag me in them and I'm like, oh my God, this is so
No, I don't even tag. I don't want to bombard you. My family, my friends, like I bombard them, and they're like, keep it going. Like they one of them told me they survived 2020 because of my memes. So yeah. So I love them. I think people are hilarious. I don't know if it has to do with the stress and people are like literally going crazy, or it's just like there's so many talents out there, and because of Instagram and because of TikTok, we get to see it. It's amazing how people can get so funny. I mean, like, did you see the Bernie Sanders? Did you see the Bernie Sanders mittens?
No.
Oh my God! Oh my God! You missed it. I saw. It's so funny. The one that made me laugh so much out loud is Demi Moore from The Ghost.
Yeah.
And she was having her hand like around the, like she's shaping like the ceramic thing, and then you see Bernie Sanders coming from behind her and with his mittens, and he's going. Like, people are crazy, and he loves it. He was talking about it, like.
Yeah, and then that other face app that you got me addicted to as well.
Oh yes, I had to delete it because I needed space.
I had to delete it because it was too funny. So definitely
they still talk to me though. But yes, that's like another thing. The AI, the artificial intelligence.
Yeah. So what's in the future for Amira Gadd, and where do you see yourself going in the music industry? You know, I know you're going to keep building your catalog and all that stuff, but what are some of your future goals, maybe even long-term goals, things that you would like to do in your life, in your career?
Future Amira Gadd. If I'm still alive, you know, you know what I mean? Because we don't know what the future holds, right? I would love to be known as a great songwriter and a lyricist. I would love to be, I hope so, that, you know, that I could pitch for like major artists, you know, some of my, I don't want to say lyrics, but like if I can provide something like that. What I want to do is I picked up an out of nowhere philanthropy of creating like planting trees. So I was thinking that I would sell a song, maybe, I don't know how, I'm still thinking about it, by, you know, and sell it by not being like, you know, like not too expensive. Like say, if I can sell it for $2, and like, you know, and then $1 I can plant a tree for everybody who buys a song. So that way I will have the fans contribute to, you know, to having fun listening to a song, and at the same time encourage people to kind of like, you know, just make it easy on them. Like, you know what? Hey, you listened to my song. I planted a tree on your behalf, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's a really
So that's what I want to do this year. Maybe I want to try it out and see how that works, right? And you know the story behind the 43 trees, right? So I kind of like, I loved it so much. So I actually reached out to One Tree Planted, and they are sending me a form to be their partner. So I was thinking that this is how I'm going to start like doing that, like, you know, so, but then I'll keep on, of course, building catalog. I still have a lot of people who are reaching out to me for collaborations. I want to finish that too. I'm just trying my best. I'm very busy with my personal responsibilities as a mom and a wife and all this stuff. So I cannot keep up with cleaning the house, to be honest. So
how do you balance it all?
There's no balance. Like, look, I'm gonna show you. I showed it yesterday. Like, this is my to-do list, right? I swear I threw away, like, yesterday, maybe like 10 of those because I was trying to scratch the stuff, and then I had to make a new one of the list of the stuff, right? There's no way. My kids used to be at school, and I used to finish everything, right? And now I can't. They're in the house, and they interrupt me all the time. So what I do is, like, say before our Zoom meeting, I went down, I loaded a dishwasher and a laundry. So after we're done, I'm gonna go put it in the dryer, and then, like, say, like, come up, like, make, like, boil water for soup or something.
You're amazing. And I think
it's like I do as I go.
You make it work, and you make time to sit down and do what you love. And I think that that's super important, because I know a lot of people are intimidated to get started because, heck, it can be overwhelming. There's not only a lot to understand and learn when you're trying to get into sing in particular, but balancing your life with it in addition. So.
And you said something about getting intimidated. When I first started being in the music industry, I had no idea what I was doing because I don't know what was, you know, so it was literally like as if I was walking in a dark room and trying to find the light switch. You know what I mean? That's how I felt. And then like I didn't have that personal encouragement as well, without saying names, like in my house or like whatever, because, you know, me coming up with just, oh, hey, I want to be a lyricist as a career, you know, it doesn't work that way, kind of thing. And then of course I discovered that you pay more money than you get. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like, you know, and then my husband is like saying, okay, when is this gonna, and I'm like, I don't know, I wish I can tell you, but it's kind of thing, you know what I mean? So me showing up at groups, that's my support, my personal support, because we're like like-minded people. We understand why we're doing this. You know, we understand it. Not everybody understands why are you doing this or why you're staying in this. And I honestly feel very empathetic to a lot of the singers. I'm not a singer. So for singers, especially who are you guys are putting yourself out in the world, not knowing if somebody's going to love what you do or not. Like it's very subjective. So it's like, your guys are brave. And then with the pandemic, when everything is stopped right now, the money that stopped coming in, that's hard. You know what I mean? So I try to, you know, just encourage people around me who are not suffering. I just want to say, like, they're feeling down, you know, just to not give up. I just had a really amazing artist yesterday who's already like really successful in the many ways. He told me he can't do it anymore. He wants to quit. So many times he told me to not. I said, like, just give it like another year. He said, like, he's giving himself until 2022 and he's done.
You're so supportive, and you're a great collaborator, and I love collaborating with you because of how supportive you are and like invested in it. Like, you know, there are some jobs where you just work with somebody and you're just doing the work, and like that's just kind of what it is. And like maybe some people don't like to make tight relationships, but
I don't know. I love tight relationships.
I do too. I mean, for me, like we're all already creators and emotional people that feel things. So like, I mean, if I can get a friendship out of it, like, then I'm double.
I don't know why people don't want to have. I mean, yeah, everybody's free, but then I'm in it not because I want something from you. It's because I just love it. Like, I love you. I love the everything about you, and like, and everybody who I work with. I'm your friend whether you like it or not. No. I just I'm the kind of person who I don't like. I like to treat people like how I like to be treated. I don't want to be
Absolutely.
I don't want to be used. I don't want people to know me because they want something and then like I don't hear back again. Like I hate that. So when I treat you and everybody else, it's because I really genuinely like you and I like your talent. And I'm in it for the long game too, because once we know each other and how we work, why not work again? And that's easier than starting new with someone that you barely know, right?
Yeah, that's half the battle is already having somebody.
Yes, right.
You know their BMI number, you know that like their address, you got it all already.
Yeah, and I know what you like and what you expect because everybody has expectations.
Right.
So now that I know exactly what you like and what you don't like, it's easy. Now I know how to approach you. You know what I mean?
Right. And the same for you. Like I know, with the Google document thing, we get it all set up and prepared and we write down our ideas and we can organize, verse, chorus, pre-chorus, and we put the time and we do all the stuff. We put title ideas and we just it's like brain vomit, but we understand each other's language. So it's just, I love it. And I love our flow. So Amira, thank you so much for your time today. How can people get in touch with you if they want to inquire about your services or if they want to ask you any questions? How can they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me on Instagram because I'm always on there for memes. It's Amira Gadd, like AMIRAGADD. And then I like emails better than text. My DMs are a little busy, but I can still check it out. Okay, my email is contact@amiragadd.com.
Your email address. Okay, cool. And what's one last note of encouragement or a testimonial that you would give to young aspiring creators who want to express themselves through art and begin and get started, but are too intimidated or insecure about making that first leap?
Education and showing up. These two words. Invest in educating. Like, for example, if you are a guitarist, then invest in your tools and learning all the kinds of riffs or whatnot. And then if you want to be heard, then try to collaborate with other people who are not guitarists, like singers, songwriters, producers that can talk with you and stuff. I love taking classes. I love to learn. I always love to learn. And every time I show up in a class, I learn so much and I develop connections, really good connections by doing that. And then show up in places. How are you gonna be discovered if you're not gonna show up in places?
Right.
And word of mouth is so real in business and in the music industry. And when I've had so many people ask me about you, Maria. They're like, oh my God, she's so talented. Can I, connect? Okay, go ahead, connect with her. Like, is she open for collaboration? Yes.
So much because like that helps me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so great that you do that for, you know what I mean? Like, it's just all about being.
But because you wanted to collaborate with me too. Imagine if you didn't give me a chance, nobody from my side would have known about you. Do you see what I mean?
Exactly. It goes back.
Show up. Like I tell people, plant your tree everywhere.
I love it. Everywhere. That's a great soundbite. Plant your tree. I love that.
Yeah.
So
and try to be out of your comfort zone too. I've done that the last 2 years, and it took me to many places. I was if you knew my background and where I am right now, you will not believe where I am. Like,
you're a chameleon. You've been chameleoning this whole time.
But I pushed myself. No, there are times where I didn't know if I wanted to do that or if I could, and I pushed myself so much to be okay with not feeling sure or okay, or maybe like I don't want to do that, but I did it, and it made me feel so much better. I'm like, oh, now not only that it brought me a lot of opportunities, but I felt good as a person. I felt a little bit more confident that I can do this. You see what I mean? Because we all have doubts, like everybody has their own personal doubts of whatever thing, so try to do something that you didn't think you would do and try it and see, because you know what, you never know. You really don't know what's going to happen. That's it. My 2 cents. Peace.
I love it. Beautifully said. This was a great past hour and a half with you. Thank you so much for your time. I think this interview is going to be really valuable and educational to a lot of people trying to get started. So I hope it's educational for all you guys. And, it's a chameleon lifestyle, being a songwriter, but also being educated person in these different industries and being a great socializer and being a communicator, being a mom, being a friend, being an illustrator, being a surfer. I mean, everybody's got so many different talents and roles that they play in their life. So we're just trying to embrace that and like say that it's okay. But you know, you out there, you guys can condense, you guys can focus, you guys can let all of your colors shine, but you can also zero in on certain things and study, like Amira is saying, get yourself educated so that you can embellish and further your career and reach your goals. Keep learning, keep putting yourself out there, and don't give up. We're here to support you, right, Amira?
We are.
Thank you so much for your time today. And we've got to go because we have a meeting that we're about to do with somebody.
Yes. I know. Love it.
We'll see you in a few hours or something, right?
Like literally like in an hour. So
have a great day.
Okay, bye. Thank you.